The Zurkai did not come with warning. They did not broadcast demands, nor send envoys. They arrived in silence, their warships sliding through the void like predators through tall grass. The target was a human frontier colony on Osiris Prime, barely 30 years established, a garden world transformed by human hands into a place of sprawling farms, glass-domed cities and laughing children. It was not a fortress. It was not a garrison. It was a home, and that was why the Zurkai chose it. The invaders descended with beams of scalding plasma and thunderous bombardments that lit the skies with artificial auroras. Cities dissolved under firestorms, farmland boiled into black ash, oceans frothed with the debris of shattered infrastructure. 10 million souls screamed into the void, and the Zurkai recorded every sound. For them, it was not a war. It was theater. Zurkai commanders broadcast their victory across the galaxy, their words dripping with contempt. The humans will learn. They build, we destroy. They plant, we reap. They are docile cattle, fattened on comfort, incapable of rage. They will not answer. They dare not answer. The last act of their cruelty was the execution of the colony's governor, broadcast live. Bound in chains, he was dragged before a Zurkai captain who mocked him with words translated into perfect Terran standard. You spread across the stars as if you belong here, but you forget, tame beasts are still prey. Your Earth cannot protect you. And then, with a flash of a blade and a cheer from alien throats, his life ended on every frequency. The galaxy listened, and believed the Zurkai. The Feast of Arrogance. The Zurkai celebrated the destruction as if it were a festival. They feasted in their crystal halls, clawed hands raised in toast. Their leaders boasted in council. Humanity was too civilized now, too shackled by treaties and diplomacy, too dependent on trade and cooperation to risk angering an empire like theirs. They are tamed, the High Commander hissed, his golden crest shimmering in torchlight. They conquered their savagery long ago. They buried their wild instincts beneath laws, committees, and fragile peace. They will gnash their teeth, yes, but they will bow. They always bow, the galaxy nodded along. After all, Earth had not made war in centuries. They were known for fleets of explorers, not dreadnoughts. For diplomats, not conquerors. For science and art, not slaughter. If the humans were enraged, they did not show it. The comms channels remained silent. The ambassadors of Earth withdrew, but gave no warnings. The colonies did not muster fleets, did not send threats. The galaxy interpreted this quiet as fear. But silence has many shades, and this silence was not submission. The silence breaks it began on the edges. Zurkai ships patrolling conquered space simply vanished, torn apart in sudden flares of railgun fire. Small garrisons found their supply lines severed, their convoys obliterated with surgical precision. The Zurkai called it resistance, pirates, nothing more. Until the dreadnoughts came. They emerged from slipspace without herald or warning. Leviathans of black steel and burnished plating, their hulls marked with names carved in languages old as Earth itself. Bismarck, Yamato, Lexington, Zhukov, Hannibal. Each one bristled with weapons that glowed like the wrath of suns. Each one carried banners of Earth. And on every frequency came a message, cold and simple. You spilled human blood. You broke what we built. You believe us tamed. You are wrong. We are coming. The Zurkai laughed at first. A handful of ships, they thought, against an empire? But then the reports came. Entire fleets gutted in hours. Fortified stations reduced to slag. Zurkai worlds burning under precision strikes. This was no rebellion. No defense. This was retribution. The storm unleashed. They expected humans to fight like prey. They expected shields, containment, negotiation. What they met instead was the wild. Human fleets did not advance with stately precision. They struck like predators, fangs bared. Task forces emerged in multiple systems at once, attacking from every angle. They used no patterns, no doctrine the Zurkai could anticipate. It was chaos, controlled chaos, honed over millennia of hunting, war, and survival. The Zurkai Empire, with all its pomp and structure, was not prepared for chaos. Human dreadnoughts cracked their battle lines like thunder-splitting stone. Carrier groups launched swarms of fighters that tore through Zurkai formations, like a hurricane ripping through forests. Orbital bombardments rained down not as a single decisive strike, but as relentless waves, methodical, merciless, designed to break spirit before bone. Zurkai soldiers, who had once sneered at humanity's civility, now faced ground troops with eyes cold as winter, moving through ruined cities with brutal efficiency. They wore no chains of diplomacy now. They were wolves, unshackled. Every battlefield carried the same message. We are not tame. We are not prey. We are the storm you woke. Fire and blood. The climax came at the Zurkai throne world, a jewel of crystalline spires and shimmering oceans, defended by the greatest fleet their species had ever assembled. Millions of warriors, thousands of warships, all converged to repel humanity's advance. The humans came anyway. Their fleet emerged like a shadow eclipsing the stars, an armada so vast it seemed endless. Dreadnoughts in the vanguard, carriers flanking, gunships trailing like hunting hounds. When they fired, it was as if a sun had exploded. Zurkai ships disintegrated in sheets of molten slag. Planetary defenses, once considered impenetrable, fell in minutes beneath railgun slugs that struck like meteors. The Zurkai fought. Oh yes, they fought with every ounce of their pride and desperation. But pride is not strategy, and desperation is not strength. Human boarding parties cut through their stations with plasma torches, flooding corridors with fire and steel. On the surface, armored divisions landed in storms of flame, their advance unstoppable, each soldier a remorseless revenant of vengeance. The Zurkai High Commander, the one who had called humans tamed, was dragged from his shattered throne room by Terran Marines. His final words, broadcast unwillingly on every frequency, were not curses or defiance, they were fear. The ashes of arrogance when the fires died, the Zurkai Empire was no more. Their fleets reduced to drifting wreckage, their worlds occupied or abandoned, their leaders executed or fled into the dark. The galaxy had watched it all unfold. They had expected humanity to falter, to sue for peace, to beg. Instead, they saw a truth older than stars. Humanity does not forgive slaughter. Humanity does not bow to chains. The silence that followed was deeper than before. Not the silence of arrogance, not the silence of fear, the silence of reverence, of a galaxy realizing it had misjudged an entire species. Whispers spread from world to world, station to station, carried by frightened voices that dared not speak too loudly. Never provoke Earth again. For though humanity builds, they can also break. Though they nurture, they can also destroy. Though they wait in silence, their vengeance, when roused, is infinite. And so the galaxy learned a final truth, etched into history by fire and blood. They thought humanity tamed, but they met the wild.